Okay, item 2 is a motion to ratify the November 22nd, 2017 seismic testing settlement agreement between Geokinetics USA Incorporated and the municipality of Monroeville.
Motion on the floor.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
Comments, Mayor?
Please.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate our solicitor, Mr. Ratcher, for doing his job to protect the municipality from any additional lawsuits by doing his research on this project. And I believe that he took some unfair shots at the last meeting. And even tonight, someone took a shot at him saying that basically we sold them out. And this is something that really bothered me. And I hope that as we get down the road, just because we're not able to meet their demands based on laws that we have to follow, I hope they understand that this is our solicitor and that is his job to protect us from these additional lawsuits. And thank you again, Mr. Ratcher.
Any other questions or comments, Council?
I'll make one more comment. I know that Mr. Ratcher was kind of attacked after the last meeting, and it was said, yeah, not in your neighborhood. Well, this is Mr. Ratcher's neighborhood as well, and it's all of ours, and we're doing the very best that we can to do what we can for everyone here. And it's not an easy job, and it's very, it hurts me to hear from the audience it's always about the money. And it's not. This stuff weighs very heavily on us, and we do the very best that we can for everyone concerned. So.
But the real bottom line is, and I think all of you on council will agree, we have to follow the law.
Well, and I think that people don't realize that. This isn't all in our hands, that we can just do whatever we feel like we want to do. So, thank you, Mr. Ratcher.
And I'd also agree with Mr. Wilson's comments.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, this, seismic testing through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it's a permitted use. We can't ban it. We can't have a moratorium on it in our community. We can certainly regulate it, which we have with our ordinance, and our ordinance is a strong ordinance. Some may think that it's too restrictive of an ordinance, and, I reluctantly will be supporting this motion, but recognize that without this agreement, the downside risk is too great for the municipality. And without following this agreement, the downside is much, much greater than what we receive in this agreement. The ordinance that we have written, it once again is a restrictive one, and the overwhelming majority of that ordinance is being followed with this agreement.
Just one short comment. Just a brief. Keep in mind that Solicitor Ratcher, they had a pretrial conference with a judge that gave every indication that we were going to lose this whole thing because that company filed before we had an ordinance. I think he negotiated a very good and fair resolve to this. I think it still looks out for the residents of Monroeville. As he said before, some of those other ordinances haven't been challenged yet. And with me, it wasn't the money to fight it in court. It was that was a useless cause. The judge had already given his feelings on it and sent them back to work it out. I think they worked it out as well as we could have hoped, considering that company was held up and did apply before the ordinance ever hit the books. So my compliments to Mr. Ratcher.
Any other comments, Council, before I ask for a roll call? Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Clary?
Aye.
Mr. Johns? Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gators?
Aye.
Tim, if we move